So Aiden says, doing a white pearl paint job, can I do it in a single stage? Can I do it? No. In stages if I coat everything the same, or do I have to shoot the whole car at once? Um, well, is your pearl a mid coat pearl, or is it just a pearl paint? If it's a pearl paint, basically, the pearl mixed into your base coat, all mixed in, then you could do it in sections and stages and you won't have a problem. Just make sure you mix it well before you start the project, and mix it up before you spray for, each time you start back up painting again. Just make sure that the paint is really mixed, okay? Especially the first time, because if you buy brand new paint, base coat or single stage, you let it sit for a week, 2-3 weeks, all the pearls and metallics settle to the bottom. Okay, and they cake up at the bottom. So before you paint, you always want to make sure you stir it up and you mix it really good for 5-10 minutes. Just mix it really well. And then you reduce down, okay, with your 1-to-1, whatever ratios you're working with. I'm not sure what paints you guys are using, but most times with base coat it's 1-to-1. Sometimes there's a lot less a ratio, less of a ratio than a 1-to-1, like 50%. So, but if you're doing a mid coat, okay, so if you're doing white base coat and then your pearl is your mid coat, then it could get trickier if you're going to be doing it in sections, because you could be spraying a little bit more the next time you paint than the first time, and then you might have it on your other paint jobs. So I would just be careful. If it's a mid coat pearl, I would try to do the whole thing at once, unless you're positive you could color match it. But if it's a pearl mixed in your paint, okay, and you're just doing pearl paint and then clear coat, then you could be fine splitting it up into multiple paint jobs. Hey, I want to let you know I fixed my biting crow's feet issue. I was laying my base coat on way too wet. Okay, good to know. Good to know. I'm glad you fixed it. But my new question is, I have an older car and there's a big spot on the door and quarter panel that clear coat is flaking off. What's the best approach to fixing it? Thanks. So what I would do is basically, you got clear coat. So you could sand that and feather it out with 150 to 180 grit, give or take. Even if it's not that bad, you can probably use a 220 and get away with it. Feather that whole area out where it's peeling bad on the quarter panel, and then extend it into the rest of your quarter panel. You could use a finer grit once you get that feathered out, and then I would 2K filler prime that whole area or the whole panel. It's up to you. But you only have to really do that area, okay, where you feathered out, because sometimes you might get to metal. When you're using a 150 grit, you can get down to metal, and you would block that out with 400, or even use an orbital DA sander. 400, you could go wet or dry. It's up to you, and then you're ready for paint. Ketis Bloom says, VIP, I asked you before about smell, but wasn't clear of what I was asking. I plan on painting a car in my garage, but didn't know how bad the smell is going to be for the neighbors. Don't want any trouble. Okay, so there's two things. Are you using a single stage paint job or a 2-stage paint job? What are you doing? Because a single stage, the smell could be a little bit more intense, and the overspray could be more intense. Well, the overspray is definitely more intense with single stage. With base coat, clear coat is not that bad, especially with base is not that bad. Clear coat a little bit more, but it's a 2-stage. So yeah, 2-stage base coat, you're not going to really have an issue. The clear coat might have, well, it does have a smell. So it all depends, man. I would just let your neighbor, I would maybe, sometimes it's good not even telling your neighbors, because if you tell your neighbors, they're expecting you to do something. So they're looking out for it. They're like looking out. Like when I painted here, the Good Van project, which was a single stage in the garage for the first time ever. I've never painted a huge van in this garage, and it came out excellent. You guys are going to have all the videos for that. I promise it'll be out soon. I was going to tell my neighbor on that side. Her house is like probably 150 feet away. She's not close to me, but I was going to let them know, hey, I'm going to be painting. Let me know if you smell anything. You know, they're super cool. We're like super cool. They wouldn't even give me a hassle either way. But I didn't say anything. You know, and they never said anything either. So it was, you know, wasn't a big issue. So just, you know, I don't know. I would just play it with your gut. How do you feel about it? You know, because sometimes if you give them prior notice, they're gonna be on the lookout and they're gonna be like, yeah, I smelt it. Yeah, I smelt it. When if you didn't say anything, they probably don't say anything, and then maybe they didn't even notice. You know, maybe they were away for a while, you know, shopping or something. And because when you think about it, a paint job, okay, if you're doing a complete paint job on a car, single stage, you're pretty much done in an hour. So as long as you can get the job done, you know, a single stage in an hour, you can do a complete paint job, pretty much a normal time frame. Okay, if you're doing two-tone and masking and blah 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 like I did, it can take a little bit more because of the masking. But an average paint job, single stage, an hour. Base coat, clear coat could be 2 hours. Okay, if you're doing custom stuff, it could get into the 3 to 4 to 5 hours, maybe 6 if you're doing a lot of masking and you know, design. So hopefully that helps. Let me know if that helps. Should I wait till late night when everybody's asleep? Late night is okay, but you have to worry about bugs. You know, at night, if you have your garage lights on, normally, okay, unless you're in an area where no bugs can come in, moths, termites, you know, and insects are attracted to light at night. Okay, so just be careful. Unless you're in a really sealed off spray booth or an environment, garage or whatever, where you don't have any flying insects, then you'll be fine at night. But I kind of like painting in the early morning, you know, 9, 10 o'clock for me is a good time because you're not, or even earlier, 8, you know, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, because it's cool. It's not that hot. You're not sweating your kahunas off. And, you know, by the time you're done, it warms up during the day, and then it's a good time for it to cure, you know. So I like painting in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon, 3, 4, 5 p.m., 6 p.m., you know, kind of like after midday, you know. So that's a good time. Okay. Awesome. Thanks. Can I just spray fresh clear over the feathered old clear with no problems? No, I would definitely not recommend spraying clear over old paint. You know, you're going through all the process of prepping a panel. You might as well put new base coat. Okay, it's going to be ready for paint. You might as well put new base coat on it and then put your clear coat on. You know, you put clear coat over sanded clear coat, unless it's a new paint job and you had to like flow coat, which is what Angel is. Somebody else is asking about flow coating here. Aiden was asking about flow coat. So if you're going to be doing a flow coat, you know, you could sand it. And with flow coat sanding, 800 grit is a good grit. So if you're sanding clear coat, you can go 800 grit, even 1,000. I wouldn't go finer than 1,000. Okay. But 800 is good because it'll cut the paint texture. It'll cut the orange peel, the paint texture. It'll give you a flat surface to flow coat on top of. And the clear coat will fill the 800 scratches. You're not going to see it. It'll fill right in and melt right in. So 800, if you feel like you want to go a little bit more, you can go 1,000. But 800 is proven to be a good flow coat grit to spray over. Hopefully that helps. Do you have a water boiler in your garage? If so, did you turn the pilot off? I do have one, but it's electric. But your pilot, you know, overspray and paint is not flammable. Like you're not going to blow up if you have a flame. in a oversprayed out paint booth. It's not going to blow. It's not flammable enough to blow like that. But for safety precautions, if you want to turn it off, turn it off. Why not? Just turn it off. Shut the pilot off for a little while. Turn your boiler off, and then paint. Okay, just for safety reasons. Okay, but don't take my advice for it. I'm not a professional in any means. How do you feel about flow coating a single stage paint job? So you're talking about flow coating with clear, right? I feel great about it. If you want to do that, you could do that. No problem at all. Yeah, you could absolutely lay urethane clear coat on top of single stage to give it more protection. And then you can actually color sand and buff that out too if you want. So yeah, I would just say if you're going to do a clear coat, flow coat over a single stage paint job, give it about a week to set up. Okay, so if you painted your single stage, let it cure for a good 7 days. Okay, because you don't want to end up with solvent pop. So after you paint the car, no matter if it's base coat, clear coat, or single stage, it takes a little while for your paint to fully cure. And if you don't let it fully cure and you put more paint on it or clear coat on it too soon, your initial coat will have a hard time curing, and you might end up with some solvent pop issues, some reaction on the new top coat that you put on. So it's always good to let your first coat dry as long as possible. Your clear coat or your single stage, normally 2-3 days you're okay, but I've painted cars and you can smell the paint on them for a week out, 10 days out. You can still smell the paint on a car. Like my van, I don't really smell the paint anymore. It's been sitting in the sun for over a week outside, and it's fully cured. Okay, so if I wanted to flow coat, now would be a good time. I painted it about 2 weeks ago, so I could definitely sand that thing down, rub it down with 800 grit, kind of wash it down with 800 to 1,000, and then put 2 coats of clear on it. Okay. So hopefully that helps. The arches are primer, and I want to blend the solid into the existing color. It's a solid color van. The arches are primer, and I want to blend in to the existing color. Well, blending single stage is actually a lot more trickier. So if you could actually paint the entire panel, that would be best. It'll give you the best, smoothest result. Okay. Otherwise, if you're going to be blending single stage into single stage, I would definitely prep the whole area with 800 grit. Okay. Prep the rest of the panel where you're going to get overspray with about 1,500 grit, and then do your blend. Okay. Let that dry, and then you're going to have to basically sand and buff that out. You would have to get more 1,500 grit and to just sand away until you get everything sanded, your blend sanded into the 2,000 area, and then buff out the whole panel, to get it to work. It can be done. It's done. I've done it many times. But it's a little trickier to blend single stage than it is base coat. Clear coat is easier. Base coat is the easiest when it comes to blending. Clear coat's a little trickier. That's why it's recommended to basically blend your base coat and then clear the entire panel, because it's easier just to clear the entire panel than to blend partial panel with clear coat. Okay. So, and again, we talk about all of this in VIP, and we have all the examples in VIP. So if you want to get more info and learn more about VIP, you can go to this website, sign up for the free book, and then it'll take you to a page where you can get VIP at a special price point, special price point. So I'll drop the link to getting the free Autobody training, and then there's a special offer for VIP on the next page. Hopefully these links are coming through. Try it again. Okay. Guys, this is helping, guys. Let me know if this is helping. Could I mix a mid-coat pearl into a single stage white paint and spray it? No, it's not recommended because your single stage paint is basically going to eat up the pearl coat. So, you know, if you have a single stage paint, say it's a solid white color, and then you mix your mid coat inside of it, because your single stage is pure white paint, it will literally eat up and cover the pearl that you put in it. You're gonna have to put a lot of pearl inside of it. That's why it's good to just get a pearl paint if you're looking to do that. You know, that's why if you're adding flakes or metallics to custom paint jobs, you add it in the mid coat or clear coat, right? Because you want it to go on top of your white base coat. So that's not going to work. It's not going to work to mix a mid coat inside of a single stage white because your white is literally going to eat it up and you won't see it. Okay. Even if you put a bunch of silver flake in it, you're hardly going to see it. It's just going to turn white. Your flake is not going to pop out. It's going to be covered in paint inside. You get what I'm saying? That's the reason why you have a mid coat is to put it on top as a pearlescent, as a clear base coat. A mid coat is basically a clear base coat with pearl in it, or a tint. You know, a tint. It could be a blue tint with blue pearl in it. That's all it is. Hopefully, this is helping. You guys getting this? Let me know. I have a starter line, high volume and pressure, and a Atom X27 I bought for clear coat. I'm gonna do base coat, clear coat, and was gonna use the Devilbiss for base and the X27 for clear, or should I use the X27 for both because it's a better gun? Well, definitely, I feel the X27 is a better gun. I think you put HVLP or what? I'm not sure what you're putting. You're the acronym is a little messed up. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there. Low volume, low pressure, or high volume, low pressure. But either way, I think the X27 is a superior spray gun. I would do base coat, clear coat with that same gun. And speaking of spray guns, if you guys are looking for great spray guns, check out the same spray guns that I use, the Atom X spray guns at Zula.com, right over here. And every gun that you invest in, they also hook you up with a free GUNBUDD ultra lighting system, which I use every single time I paint the car. It's amazing because it's just amazing. And in the free members area, you'll see more about it. I have to post a couple videos in there that are already made. I just got to put them in there. But super, super cool gadget that I think you'll love. So anyway, I'll see you guys next week. And have a great, great evening, guys. Have a great evening. Peace.